The old Blackwood Manor loomed over the town like a watchful gargoyle, its silhouette a jagged scar against the dying light. Weathered stone, once proud, now crumbled under the weight of years and whispered rumours. Locals muttered of the original owners, of a tragic fire, and a chilling presence that lingered within its decaying walls. Some swore they saw flickering lights in the topmost tower, shadows shifting against dusty windows. Children dared not approach, their whispers carrying tales of cold spots, disembodied voices, and the spectral figure of a woman in grey who wandered the grounds at night, weeping. It was this air of mystery, this promise of the unknown, that drew Megan and her friends to Blackwood Manor's rusted gates as the last rays of sun dipped below the horizon. Megan, ever the adventurer, had proposed to dare spend a night in the infamous Blackwood Manor. Her friends, Liam, the skeptic, and Chloe, the cautious one, had initially balked. But Megan's infectious enthusiasm, her unwavering belief in the thrill of the unknown, had a way of erasing doubt. So, armed with flashlights and a healthy dose of bravado, they stepped onto the overgrown path, the wrought-iron gates groaning shut behind them like a mouth snapping closed on a trapped bird. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of decay and the weight of unseen eyes.
"You sure about this, Meg?"
she whispered, her voice barely audible above the rustling leaves.
"Absolutely. Let's see if the stories are true."
The heavy oak door creaked open with a groan that echoed through the cavernous hall. Dust motes danced in the beams of their flashlights, illuminating cobwebs thick as tapestries and furniture draped in white sheets, resembling ghostly apparitions. Each room they explored seemed to hold its breath, the silence broken only by the creaking floorboards beneath their feet. A grandfather clock stood frozen in time, its hands pointing accusingly at 10 minutes past midnight.
"Just an old house, nothing to be scared of,"
he said, his voice louder than necessary, as if to convince himself. But as they climbed the grand staircase, their shadows stretching long and distorted behind them, a chill ran down Chloe's spine.
"Did you hear that?"
she whispered, her eyes wide with fear. The library was a testament to forgotten knowledge, its shelves lined with leather-bound books, their titles barely visible in the dim light. A fire had ravaged one corner, leaving a gaping hole in the ceiling and a layer of ash over everything. As Megan ran her finger along a dusty spine, a book tumbled from its shelf, landing open at a page with a faded portrait of a woman with hauntingly familiar features. Her eyes, wide and filled with a nameless sorrow, seemed to follow their every move. Suddenly, a cold draught swept through the room, extinguishing their flashlights and plunging them into darkness. A wave of unease washed over them as they fumbled for their lights, their hearts pounding in their chests. He said, his voice strained, but Chloe wasn't so sure. The air felt different here, heavy with an unseen presence. S3, just the wind. Their flashlights flickered back to life, revealing nothing but the dusty interior of the library. But as they turned to leave, a figure materialized from the shadows in the corner of the room.
"Oh my God."
A collective gasp escaped their lips. It was the woman from the portrait, her form shimmering, translucent. Her eyes, pools of infinite sadness, locked onto Megan's, and a chill colder than death washed over the room. Megan's breath hitched in her throat. This was no trick of the light, no figment of their imagination. This was real. The stories, the whispers, they were all true. Terror, primal and immediate, seized them. They stumbled back, their feet leaden with fear. They raced through the darkened corridors, the echoes of their own panicked breaths mingling with the sound of phantom footsteps close behind. The air grew thick with the scent of mildew and something else, something ancient and unworldly. S2, whispering, "Help me." The ghostly figure glided towards them, her hand outstretched, her lips moving in a silent plea. Turning on their heels, they fled, their fear lending speed to their steps. S2 whispering, "Help me."
Keep running, don't look back.
I can't, I'm so scared.
Liam, his skepticism shattered, could hear his own blood pounding in his ears, drowning out Chloe's whimpers of terror.
We have to make it out of here.
The chase through the mansion's darkened halls had only just begun. They burst into a long, narrow hallway lined with portraits of the mansion's former inhabitants, their eyes seeming to follow the friends as they ran.
Look, at the end of the hallway. It's her.
The woman in grey appeared at the far end of the hallway, her form solidifying, her features contorting in a silent scream of anguish. Liam grabbed Megan and Chloe's hands, pulling them towards a narrow, cobweb-draped doorway. They stumbled through, the door slamming shut behind them with a resounding boom that seemed to shake the very foundations of the house. They found themselves in a small, dusty bedroom, moonlight filtering through a crack in the boarded-up window. S3, quick, this way! Crouched in the darkness, they listened as the sound of the woman's anguished cries echoed through the mansion, each wail a shard of ice piercing their hearts.
Do you hear that? It's like she's in so much pain.
Megan could feel the despair emanating from the spectral figure, a raw, primal grief that seemed to seep into the very walls of the house. Time lost all meaning as they huddled together, their fear a tangible presence in the stifling air. The screaming continued unabated, a symphony of sorrow that seemed to go on for an eternity. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the sound of their own ragged breathing. Gathering their courage, they slowly opened the bedroom door, their flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness. The hallway was empty, the portraits staring down at them with their lifeless eyes. They crept down the grand staircase, each creak of the steps sending shivers down their spines. The front door loomed before them, a beacon of hope in the oppressive darkness. Fumbling with the rusted bolt, they finally managed to get the door open. They stumbled out into the cool night air, gasping for breath as if they had been drowning. As they ran, they could hear the sound of a woman's sobs echoing in the wind behind them, a chilling reminder of the unseen guest that haunted the halls of Blackwood Manor. The mansion loomed in the distance, its silhouette stark against the dawning sky, a testament to the horrors they had witnessed. They had escaped with their lives, but the experience had changed them. They knew, with a certainty that chilled them to the bone, that they would never truly be free of the haunting at Blackwood Manor. The unseen guest had left an indelible mark on their souls, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the veil of the familiar. And in the stillness of the night, they could still hear her mournful cries, a haunting melody that would forever echo in the chambers of their hearts.